Hey everyone, this is Mr. Zach and welcome to our online children ministry program at Chinese Christian Union Church. As we continue our series called Mixed Up Max, where we have been listening to our Bible story, and then after we'll do a little bit of mixed up information to see if you guys were listening. And that's our series for this month. But before we jump into today's Bible story, let's go over our big idea and our Bible verse for today because they are different for these next 2 weeks. Okay, so our big idea for today is that we can ask Jesus for help. Okay, so let me read that and then we can read it together. Okay, so it says, we can ask Jesus for help. And we'll learn all about how we can ask Jesus for help and how the people in the Bible story are asking Jesus for help in a really hard time. But let's read our big idea together on the count of 3. Okay? 1, 2, 3. We can ask Jesus for help. Great job. Now let's move on to the Bible verse. Let me erase this. Our Bible verse is from Psalm chapter 46, verse 1. And this is what it says. It says, God is always there to help us in times of trouble. Psalms chapter 46, 1. And we'll see all about that in today's Bible story. But let's go over our Bible verse today and go over some of the hand motions. Okay, so again, they are indicated by each different color line and each hand motion. Okay, so there are 3 different colors, meaning there are 3 hand motions. Okay, and then if we always remember that last part of where we find it in the Bible, we always open up our hands like we're reading it from the Bible ourselves. Okay, but let's go over from the beginning. Okay, so God, God is the first hand motion. We're just going to point up in the air and we're going to look up. So God, and we're just going to point up. So God. Easy. And the next part is always there to help us, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to hold our hands. So God is always there to help us, okay? We're going to do that real fast, and you can even make a clap if you really want to. So it'll be God is always there to help us. Great job. You're going to clasp your hand together, okay? And the last part, in times of trouble, okay? This might not make sense right now, but from our Bible story, it will help us remember it, okay? So in times of trouble, we're going to rock back and forth. Whoa! Like that, okay? I might be out of frame, but we're going to rock back and forth, okay? So from the top is God. God is always there to help us in times of trouble. And then last part, Psalm chapter 46, 1. Great job. Let's do it all together on the count of 3. Okay? 1, 2, 3. God is always there to help us in times of trouble. Psalms chapter 46, 1. Great job. And I think you guys are all ready to go into our Bible story for today. So everyone, get ready, get comfortable, and get your listening ears on. Okay, welcome back to our series of Mixed Up Max. And here what we will be doing, in case you guys all forgotten in that last 2 weeks, is I will be going over the story 2 times. The first time will be from the Bible that we read, and that will be all true information. And the next time I read will be from the Bible as well, but from my memory. And, from my memory, I might, mix up some information and maybe, try to trick you on some of the things that we're trying to see if you guys remember them, okay? So let's see if you guys can find the right things when I mix up the information. So let's begin our Bible story so you guys can listen really carefully so when we tell it the second time, you'll be able to find all the clues, okay? Let's go. Ready, set, go. Okay. In the Bible, in the book of Mark, Jesus was spending time with his friends. Jesus said to his friends, let's go over to the other side of the lake. So they all got into a boat and started sailing across the big blue sea. While they were sailing though, something really scary happened. A big storm came up. The storm got bigger and bigger and bigger. Lightning was booming, wind was blowing, and waves were crashing over the boat, if you guys were in that boat, let's pretend what would be happening. And if you remember the Bible verse, well, we did this kind of handbook. So I want you guys all to pretend you're walking on the boat in a big storm, and stuff like that. You're rocking back and forth. The storm was so bad that the boat was gonna sink with all the rain and everything. It was shaking. The disciples were really scared. They were really scared. But not Jesus. Jesus was not scared on the boat. You know why? Because he was asleep in the back of the boat, surprising or not. So the disciples ran to Jesus and woke him up. They said, "Jesus, don't you care if we sink into the water? We're going to die." So Jesus got up and said to the waves, "Quiet, be still." Let's all shout that together, on the count of 3. What did you say? He said, "Quiet, be still," but really loud, okay? So let's all shout that on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Quiet, be still. As soon as, great job by the way guys, but as soon as Jesus said those words, the storm got smaller and smaller and smaller. The lightning was quiet, the wind was still, and the waves were totally calm. Then Jesus said to his friends, "Why are you so afraid? Don't you trust in me?" His friends and disciples were amazed. They said to each other, "Even the winds and waves obey Jesus." And that was something amazing of what Jesus did. He calmed the storm by saying, "Quiet, be still." And he asked disciples why they were afraid. And that is our Bible lesson for today. But let's retell it again from my memory and not using the Bible as my notes, okay? So let's see if I can mix up some of the information and see if you guys can find them and see if you guys can guess them correctly, okay? Let's mix up some of the information. Okay, mixed up information. In our Bible story, we learn that Jesus was traveling with his disciples, and they got into the boat and traveled across the desert. They had a long journey in the desert, and they were able to, be in a boat traveling across it. What? Did you guys catch that? What was mixed up? I think this was pretty easy though. So I'll give you guys like 3 seconds to say it. What was mixed up? Exactly, they got on a boat, which is true, but they didn't travel across the desert. Jesus and his disciples, they didn't travel across the desert on a boat. They traveled across the sea on a boat. Great job on finding that mix up, and let's move on. Though, as we learned today in our Bible story, while they were sailing on the sea, something scary happened to them. A big earthquake shook the boat, and the boat was rocking back and forth, and the disciples were terrified about the boat breaking from that earthquake that was shaking them all around, right? Did you guys catch that? What was mixed up? Exactly, good job on listening. And yeah, it was not an earthquake that shook the boat, because they were in the sea. A big storm came up and not an earthquake. The big storm had a lot of wind, a lot of lightning, and it was shaking the boat back and forth. Good job on finding that mix up, and let's move on. We know that the disciples were really scared, so they ran to the back of the boat to wake up Jesus and ask him for help. We know that Jesus got up and said, "Go home, you silly storm." And, the storm stopped, right? Do you guys catch that? What was mixed up? Exactly. Jesus didn't say, "Go home, you silly storm." What did he say? He said, "Quiet, be still." Good job, guys. Let's move on. Well, after Jesus said, "Quiet, be still" to the storm, what happened after? The waves got bigger and bigger, and the boat sank into the water with all the rain and winds blowing in it, right? No? What happened then? What was mixed up? Oh yeah, exactly. When Jesus said, "Quiet, be still," the waves got smaller and smaller, and the storm stopped. It didn't get bigger and bigger. It didn't sink the boat. That didn't happen in the Bible. The storm stopped because Jesus said, "Quiet, be still." Great job in listening to our Bible story for today. You guys all did a great job in finding all the mixed up information, and were listening very well. In our story for today, the disciples were very scared of the big storm around them. But then they asked Jesus for help. Jesus made the storm stop, and he made the waves stand still. The disciples asked Jesus for help, and so can we. Have you guys ever been scared of a big storm before? When it's outside lightning and the winds are blowing on your house, that's kind of scary. I used to be scared of lightning when I was a child too. Sometimes it's still scary when it's like and stuff. I was like, whoa, now and stuff. But what do you guys look like when you guys are scared of a big storm outside? It might be like, oh. Sometimes I might be like, and be really scared. But I want you guys to think about what other things make you feel scared as well. It could be, heights. I really don't like heights. I don't think I can climb up really high up and look down. That's scary to me. What about, insects or bugs? Those can be really scary as well. And there's a lot of other things that you may be scared of as well. And those are all great answers. And that's all things that you can be scared of. And those things can be really scary sometimes. When you're little, there's a lot of things that may make you feel scared. But I want you guys to remember that when you're scared, you can do what the disciples did. You guys can all go to Jesus and ask him for help. When you pray to Jesus, he can help you by making you brave and strong. He can also give you people, like your parents, to keep you safe from the things that you may be scared of. Sometimes, he can even make the scary things go away, just like the storm from the disciples, You never have to fight your fears alone, because you can ask Jesus for help with him in your life. Okay, so let's all close in prayer, and you guys can all repeat after me. Okay, so let's all bow our heads, close our eyes, and fold our hands, and you guys can all repeat after me. Dear Jesus, I believe that you are more powerful than all the things that scare me. Please help me to be brave when something scary happens. In Jesus' name, amen. Great job, guys, and I'll see you guys around.